Good morning, everybody. It's the 28th of December, 2015. It's time for another edition of Weber This Week. Today, we bid farewell to a couple of guys and their organization have done a great job in the Sheriff's Department of Seneca County. Sheriff Jack Stenberg, Undersheriff Gary Sullivan are my special guests this morning as they wrap up their careers and retiring as of the 31st of this month, which is only a few days ago. And without further ado, good morning, everybody. It's nice to have you alongside. And, of course, it's the first day I was telling Jack and Gary that I had to go out and do a little scraping. And, of course, Gary will laugh when I think about this. I have those frost guard things from QVC you can put on the windshields to prevent this. Of course, I left them in the trunk last night and did not put them on both windshields. Classic move. So I was scraping to get out of the driveway this morning. But it's good to have everybody with us. Hope you all had a great Christmas. Santa Claus was good to you. Santa Claus got here, even though we didn't have a lot of snow. He still got here. And I hope you're all psyched up for New Year's in a couple of days. Well, Jack and Gary, thank you very much, Jack, for coming in, and appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to show up this morning.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for the invite.
And, of course, I should tell you, I'll be referring to Gary as Sully because that's all I've always called him that since I've known him for years and in our golfing days at the club, and he'll have some time now to get out and try to take some money from the Farrar brothers, which will be almost impossible.
Absolutely impossible. They don't even need a gun to take my money.
But, guys, you both have served quite a few years. Jack, 8 years as the sheriff?
8 as the sheriff, that's correct.
And Gary as undersheriff?
8 years.
8 years. So, in reality, you've seen a lot of things happen. I had a chance to review quite a bit of paperwork for the interview this morning. And, Jack, I'd like you to touch on a comment that you made in the annual report, which I think really hit home. When you took over office, the Sheriff's Department was in despair. There was quite a bit of uneasiness. There was legal battles going on, a lot of accusations being made about certain people, which will remain nameless on this show this morning. You came in along with Gary and obviously have changed the culture. And I think you used the term embarrassed at the time. A lot of the people were in the department. And talk a little bit about that. I think it's obviously changed for the good, and I think that's a big point that you wanted to make.
Well, there was and still is an awful lot of good people in the department. Mm-hmm. And those good people had to live through the 2006 and 7 era of the department. And they'd go on the road and it was thrown in their face, things that had happened, even though they may not have been any part of it. And they were embarrassed to be out there.
Right.
So when we went in, the primary goal was to turn that around and try to become acting professional office again. And because there was so many good people, they got on board. They wanted to go in that direction, and it was just a matter of turning the ship around and get sailing in the right direction.
And Gary, I think you could touch on the same comment, right? Everybody was kind of down, and now it was time to turn it around and be more positive.
They were, and I had known most of the people there for my entire career that I had spent in Seneca County. And there were a lot of fantastic people there, and there still are. And unfortunately, they just got caught up in a lot of the things that were happening out of their control that they weren't a part of, and they wanted the place to be better, and they wanted to do the right thing. And without their help, we could never have achieved the successes that we've achieved over the past 8 years.
Jack Stenberg and Gary Sullivan, my special guests are on Weber This Week on a Monday morning, the 28th of December. You know, you talk about what the department has done, and I was telling you before we went on the air this morning, I, as an individual, and been born in Lyons, came here when I was 2. My parents moved us, and I've been here in Seneca County all my life, except for 5 years when I married my wife, Mary. I lived in Geneva. You take for granted police organizations, and I know Stu Pincer is a good friend of yours and a good colleague of yours, and he's a good friend of mine who's been on the show a few times. You really take advantage, I think you take for granted police organizations unless you need them. And I think what's important about the Sheriff's Department is that, you know, you see your cars going by on patrol or whatever, and you say, oh, that's great. But if you need somebody to come to your rescue to help you out, they're there. And I think you guys mentioned accreditation of your department, best practices. Talk a little bit about that, Jack. You said it's only a few that have gotten that. It's toil's an awful lot of work involved in getting that together. Talk a little bit about how that got started and when you finally got the accreditation.
One of the goals when I came into office was to work on accreditation, and when Gary came aboard, it was basically my task to Gary was, I want to get accredited. We need to do this. Those that know Gary know he operates at 120 miles an hour. He does not know 30 miles an hour. And he bit into the apple of accreditation and didn't let go until 24 months, 25 months later, when we were fully accredited in all 4 divisions. Tremendous accomplishment. At the time, there was only 3 sheriff's departments in New York State that had that. At this time, I believe there's 5. So it's among the elite. So again, it was Gary's baby. Gary took it, ran with it. A major, major accomplishment, and deserves all the credit for starting and finishing that program. And it's never finished. It goes on every day.
And Gary, you pointed out before the show came on the air this morning that it's continuous. You keep updating all the practices.
It is. Not only is the initial accreditation important, to where you have actual assessors coming on site for 3 to 4 days at a time, looking at all of your standards in a particular division, interviewing deputies, correction officers, civilian staff. So the initial accreditation is an intense process, but then once you're accredited, it's an ongoing process for 5 years where you have to maintain that certification / accreditation. And we were fortunate in that we got everyone to buy into the idea. And that was the most rewarding part, because it wasn't just Jack or I that did it. It was everyone involved in all of our divisions that had a helping hand and then are truly responsible for getting the entire office accredited.
Pretty amazing. And I think of something that also kind of stunned me. Our county correctional facility did not realize the impact that has financially. In reading the report that you sent me, Gary, to update myself for this show regarding the revenues that it brought in, almost $4 million since it began bringing in inmates from other counties, also bringing in federal folks. Talk a little bit about that, if you would. Either one can pick up on that. That's really a big bonanza for the county.
Right, and it was a program we started. We looked into right off the bat. We were able to begin in, I think it was April of 2009. We had sat down with the marshals. The marshals had come in and inspected our facility, and of course our facility at the time was only about a year old, so everything was spick and span, operating top notch, and so what inspection they did, if you will, the interviewing and everything went very, very well. In April of 2009, we started with feds. Basically what we do is set our budget line by an average number of inmates we want to try to have every day, federal inmates. So we have a budget line, and we've accomplished or exceeded that every single year. I think our high year was 2012. We took in about $750,000 in the 1 year.
Wow. And
that's feds, and a lot of jails are not able to do as Seneca County did and build a new facility. They're overcrowded. They have to put some of their inmates out for other jails to take care of, and of course that's revenue. And so we're always available to take. We've taken Tompkins, Yates, Ontario. I mean, counties from as far as St. Lawrence County, Tioga County. So I mean, whatever. If somebody needs the space and we're able to take care of them, we've pretty much taken care of them.
And Gary, what about the type of crime that you incarcerate? As far as when does it get to the threshold that they have to be moved to a state prison scenario?
Well, obviously, if they're convicted of a felony,
a
felony level crime, the county court would then sentence them to a term of incarceration in a state prison.
Okay.
We house mainly people that have committed crimes that have been sentenced to a year or less.
Okay.
So anything a year or over goes to a state facility.
Okay.
But one thing that I know the sheriff will agree on, with the added burden of bringing in federal prisoners, our correctional staff have done a fantastic job in managing not only our local inmates, but also the federal inmates that have come in. They have gone above and beyond the call with these added duties and helping the county generate revenue that we get from the feds. So they've done a fantastic job.
I think our viewers might be interested. I know I am. As far as Jack, if you could give me a rundown of what takes place if somebody is brought to your facility brand new in an hour from now. What actually takes place? I mean, there's a lot of tests to go through or paperwork to have to be done and different scenarios before they're actually put in a cell. There's a lot involved.
Well, they initially go through a booking process, all their pedigree,
Right.
photographed, fingerprinted, things of that nature. They are, for 3 days or 4, depending on testing, they are basically isolated in a separate cell
Okay.
for their TB test to come back, some of the medical things.
Okay.
They go through a medical review by our nursing staff, our doctors and nursing staff. Within 2 weeks, we try to get them a physical. They're interviewed by mental health people. And what we try to do is get a pretty clear assessment. Is this person, number one, in need of medical help? Are
Right.
they in need of mental health help? Are they somebody that's come in intoxicated? Are they somebody that's addicted, and we need to be aware of the effects of not being able to
Sure.
continue to inhale the drugs?
Right.
So that's a 3 days is a monitoring, beginning of a monitoring anyway. And it's not unusual that we'll take somebody to the hospital with withdrawal from alcohol, withdrawal from drugs of some kind.
Wow.
So anything we're not able to take care of ourselves, we take to the hospital and get necessary medical care. Sometimes that means a few days or a week they might be there in the hospital, or it may be they're able to be taken care of, evaluated, taken care of, sent back, and then we monitor them until they're back on their feet again. We get a lot of people that come in with addictions. Very high percentage of people, addictions, alcohol problems, and it's not just a addiction problem, it's a medical problem that we have to be on top of all the time.
Jack Stenberg and Gary Sullivan, my special guests this morning on Weber This Week. Before we take our commercial break, I'd like to get your feeling on the obviously there's not a night that goes by that I don't read the police beat, and I always kind of read the DWI list. And of course, we all remember it used to be a 1.0 and now it's an 0.08. Gary, your feeling on an 0.8? Fair? Should be lower? Should be higher? What's your feeling on an 0.8? A lot of controversy in the state about that.
I think right now is a good number, that 0.08, because it takes just a few drinks to get to 0.8.
Right.
I think eventually over time all the states are going to be going lower, but as Jack can attest, and we have all been to scenes of horrific car accidents
Sure,
involving drunk driving. So what's the right number? I'm not sure what the right number is. I leave that to people a lot smarter than me. But I think at some point in time you'll see it going even lower. Will there ever come a day where there will be no drinking at all? No, there won't. I mean, there's people out there with 5 or 6 DWI convictions that are still driving without licenses.
It's amazing.
And yeah, so I'm not sure what the answer to that is, but I think someday it will definitely go lower.
Jack, what about an 0.8 to you? Is it?
When I come on the job, 1968, it was 1.5. We were handling, I don't know, probably 50 to 70 fatals in this county every year.
Wow.
Awful lot of fatals. Most of them alcohol related. As the number has come from 1.5 to 1.2 to 1.0 to 0.8, the fatal numbers have dropped right along with them. And the enforcement, as time has gone on, we've been trained and learned that enforcement is the key, and that unfortunately you have to take the people off the road to stop the fatals, and it works. And enforcement has to continue. Whatever the number may be, 0.8 seems to be a pretty good number. And the public knows. If you allow them to be 1.2, they're going to be 1.1s. So if you say 0.8, they're going to be 0.7s. So just make it 0.8 and let's try to be better.
I must tell you, and this is a confession, I have certainly driven home a couple of times when I was with Ghouls. We used to entertain a lot of guests, a lot of customers from out of town, and I probably would have been in trouble if I got stopped. And it's amazing, even though now I'm past 70, that I recognize that when I'm driving my vehicle with Mary going somewhere, and I'm always, of course, Mary keeps count, so she says, that's your second Coors Light. And I like that. She's one and done Mary. She has a glass of wine. But I got to admit that the penalties are severe, and they should be severe for DWI. I totally agree with that. But my own personal story is I'm mindful of it when I drive now to go out and have a beer or two with somebody. I think about that. Mm-hmm. And I think about, geez, what if there's a stop? You guys have these, what do you call them? Stop and...
Sobriety check.
Right. And I'm thinking, geez, would I blow over in a .08? That's not much. But it is amazing. And I'm not a Harvard graduate, but I think about it when I'm out even having a cocktail or two about that number.
As we all do.
Yeah, you think about it because, wow, it's not too much drinking that you have to do to get to that level. So it's interesting. We're going to get Gary's opinion. He wrote an op-ed some time ago about the scourge of drugs. We're going to get his opinion on something that is mindful of the fact that Gary and his team and Jack and his team are mindful of the fact that it's an element that it's not getting much any better, I don't think, on the drug usage. This is Weber This Week on a Monday morning. I hope you all had a great Christmas, everybody. Let's hear a great commercial break now and hear from the great sponsors that make this show possible. We'll be back with Jack and Gary. Cayuga Lake National Bank, Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora. A fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquors, Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her great team will find that right spirit for you every time. Good Hotel welcomes you to come out and enjoy the revitalization of this historical landmark. Wednesdays, don't forget Ladies' Night with special price drinks and half-priced appetizers. Tap is Thursday, and their chef serves a dinner special every night. The Gould Hotel in Seneca Falls. Steve Wadhams, Wadhams Enterprises, your employer of choice. Proud supporter of this show and local athletics. Bob and Leslie Oman, owners of the Oman Theater, in Lions as well as the Newark Pilots, a minor league baseball team with a major league ballpark. SenecaFallsCountryClub.com. Awesome 18-hole layout, offering a 12-month payment plan. Home of the toughest par 4 in central New York. Wilson Press, WPress.com. Seneca Falls, Rich Ricky, my good friend, and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Rich Ricky, Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week. Welcome back, everybody. It's a dog with you in the kennel. A little chilly kennel this morning. It's the first time I've had to scrape the window. A little chilly, looking like a little winter out there. I don't know. They're expecting maybe 3-4 inches of snow tonight with a little freezing. But then it's supposed to be like mid-40s, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Just brace it. Of course, we shouldn't be complaining, should we? As Jack pointed out before the airtime this morning, he was out playing some golf. I don't blame him. I put my clubs away, and I haven't taken them back out, waiting till spring. Back with Gary and Jack, Jack Stenberg and Gary Sullivan. Gary, you wrote an op-ed some time ago, which I remembered reading about an issue that may not get as much play as it should be, and it is a scourge of drug use. Would you like to just comment about that?
It is, and sadly, I guess, and it's not just Seneca County, but
Sure.
It's all across the United States.
Right.
The scourge of heroin.
Right.
I never thought I'd be saying the word heroin in Seneca County, but we've seen over the years, for a number of different reasons, why the plague of heroin is hitting not only Seneca County but other counties. Congress initiated a program called iStop, where they cut down on people going doctor shopping to get prescription pills, opiate pills, that they go to one doctor and get a prescription, go to another doctor, get another prescription for opiates, and they would become addicted to painkillers, Oxycontin, hydrocodone, etc. Congress put a stop to that, and people had to find a way to continue their addiction, and the heroin trade moved in, and now it's very easy for people to get heroin. Most of our heroin comes from Rochester, and over the years we've seen an explosion in that. The sheriff, to his credit, established a narcotics unit within the sheriff's office, and we work very closely with Seneca Falls Police, Waterloo Police, and other surrounding agencies. And just to see the effects that heroin has had has been devastating. We just recently did a search warrant last week in Waterloo at 7 o'clock in the morning.
I did read
and,
it. Yeah.
To see little babies coming out in little car carriers just broke your heart. And it's just people that are addicted to heroin. And it's not something that's unique to Seneca County. It's all over, and it's devastating. It really is.
It's too bad. As I was looking at this interview, thinking about coming in to do this interview with you guys this morning and to say thank you for your service these last 8 years, I started thinking about, and again, it's a lack of knowledge, not realizing. You think of the sheriff's department, it's much more than patrol cars going down the road checking to see if anybody is speeding or not. I think what really blew me away is the components of the sheriff's department. You got the road patrol, obviously. You got the K-9 unit, which is a phenomenal asset to have when needed. Underwater search and rescue, emergency response team, accident reconstruction, navigation unit. So, Jack, I think most people, maybe not, don't realize all the components that make up the sheriff's department, all the things that you have at your fingertips to help out certain issues.
Yeah, and a lot of it is demand.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, look at Seneca County. We're bordered by by 3 waterways.
Exactly.
Two immense lakes plus a canal. When we first started, we kind of looked at that, and there was a dive team prior to us. So I mean, it's not we didn't do anything brand new.
Right.
But we reestablished it, got it up and running, got the people qualified. It would be criminal not to have a dive team in a county is surrounded by so much water. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of boating accidents. We have a lot of people tip over in boats, and you've got to be ready to respond to that. And we have 2 boats. We put a boat on Seneca Lake all summer. We put a boat on Cuga Lake all summer, and both boats enter the canal, work the canal at the same time. And a lot of it is public relations. Stop a boat, check the boat.
Right.
And if it's the first time they've been checked for the season, let's educate.
Right.
Tell them what equipment they need to have if they don't have. We're not out there arresting people. We're out there trying to make people enjoy themselves and be safe. So that was part of the main program. But you have to worry about speeders. You have to worry about wakes and destruction of banks and property and things like that. And we've had a couple of devastating flood collateral damage from flooding where the lake levels have gone up so much that it's affected property. So that's another thing we have to be concerned about is debris in the lake, docks floating away, things of that nature. So so that's all part of the boats. It's all part of the navigation unit. Our entry team, ERT team, is basically we train for hopefully something we never have to get involved in, and that's an active shooter situation.
Right.
As everybody knows, they're going on. It's going on across the country.
Right.
Are we immune? Absolutely not.
Well, of course not. No.
So we train people to react, and that's really what it's about. It's about reacting and being able to react with good equipment. We have a team that we've equipped them with good equipment, what they need to take care of the initial problems, and then backup plans to take over if the initial thing doesn't work or whatever. We also run a civil office. Civil's one of the requirements of the sheriff. The sheriff's required to run a civil office and a jail. So we run a civil office, which is extremely busy, handles nearly $500,000 a year on civil situations. We maintain the security in the court building. We can maintain security in the county office building.
Right.
All necessary evils, if you will.
Right.
Because you just don't know what could possibly happen. So you try to prepare for that. In the jail, we have people trained to react to certain situations. And our K-9 squad, we have a bomb dog, we have a drug dog. Very active. Both of them are active. Both of them are used in counties around us. a phone call and they have our dog, I can pick up the phone and get 8 dogs if we want to do a jail search with dogs, let's say.
Wow.
So it's an awful lot of cooperation that goes on between departments trying to make best use of resources. So we have an awful lot goes on other than the car you may see out on the road making a stop or something.
Well, yeah, I hate to say look at the clock, but the John Cameron Swayze says we're running out of time. But Gary, I think a comment that I would make relative to the Road Patrol Union about something I saw in the paper the other night, the Shop with a Cop scenario, where one of the patrol union scenario put together a program taking children that are in need to buy them a Christmas gift. I think that, speaks volumes of not only you two as the administrators, but as far as the patrol union doing something nice and classy, and that meant a lot to me reading about it.
When they came up with the idea, both Jack and I thought that was a wonderful idea. That's exactly what we've been trying to stress for years, is giving back to the community. And the deputy sheriff's been a PBA. It was their idea. They totally handled it all themselves. They got the funding themselves. And it was just a fantastic way to give back to the community. And I think we leave after all of these years, and the most important thing that we're going to miss are the people.
Right.
Because every day behind the scenes, you have people doing the very best they can for as many people as they can, and they go unnoticed. And if we had the power to wave a magic wand, what we would like to see is our people in all divisions being paid what they're worth.
Exactly.
They're paid hundreds or thousands of dollars less than their counterparts in this area and around us. And every day they go in and do their best. And that's what we're going to miss the most are the people. We're two old horses, and we're getting ready to shut it down, but we're going to miss the people that we work with, because they truly are an asset to the county that the county doesn't really doesn't know about the things that they do every day.
Well, I'll tell you, I'd like to say for Jimmy Seneca and myself, thank you for coming on the show. I wish we could speak for another hour. Unfortunately, we have time restraints, but I certainly want to wish both of you the very best in retirement. Enjoy it. You deserve it. And you both have done an outstanding job, and the county will miss you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And I certainly know that you wish Tim Luce and John Clear the best as well.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
So they'll be taking the baton on January 1st.
Without a doubt. And before I close, Dog, if I could, Johnny Millis, a friend of ours, a joint friend, wants to know when we're going out to dinner, so you could buy him and me dinner. And Johnny wanted me to bring that up.
Are you going to have Jim Seneca bring his tape recorder to tape this occasion? Weber buying dinner? Hey, by the way, last minute to go before we sign off. I couldn't understand New England not taking the football yesterday in that overtime game. It kind of shocked even me with one good eye. It's the first touchdown that wins overtimes. Why you would not have the football and take it is beyond belief. Belichick at the end said that's what he wanted to do. It defies logic, even for a 63 Miners Academy graduate. Why would you not want the ball? The Jets got the ball, went down, scored. They beat the Patriots 26-20 at overtime. Tommy Coughlin, I love the guy. We all love him. Jack loves him. Gary loves him. Jimmy loves him. Can he get another rabbit out of the hat? They get demolished last night against the Vikings on national television. Mr. Mara, the owner, said no playoff. He's not happy, and I find it hard to believe that Tommy can still keep his job there. We'll have to wait and see as the clock is ticking. But if he pulls it off this year, he needs a show in Vegas, baby. Steelers gag against Baltimore. Oh, my God. I got a lot of friends that are Pittsburgh Steelers fans. You got to go take care of business. You got to beat Baltimore. My God, they were 11-point favorites. I was disappointed in that. And I did take issue with Jimmy Senecrobi's power rankings in high school basketball. They have North Rose Wilk at second. They have MA, which, of course, I'm a graduate of, as well as Jimmy. Miners a nice team, but North Rose Wilk got undefeated. They demolished East Rochester in the fourth quarter in their big battle. I think NRW deserves number one. Just a personal opinion. Hey, big football weekend coming up, baby. Coming up weekend, Thursday night, the national championship contenders go at it. Clemson, Oklahoma at 4 o'clock. And, of course, Alabama, almost a 10-point favorite against Michigan State. And high school basketball, as we sign off, tomorrow night, Dave Barnick will have the play-by-play of Miners Academy hosting Clyde Savannah. That'll be our last broadcast for 2015, and the dog will be coming out of retirement. I've been off for a few weeks. I did the openings, couple games at the college way back when. I'll be doing the Waterloo game at home against Sodas this coming Saturday night. And Zach Young will be one of the commentators. Looking forward to seeing Zach. So the Lions coach, who's had a tough year, by the way. And I think, Jimmy, he predicted it, didn't he? That he'd have a tough year.
Yeah, they lost a lot of key pieces from
They
last
did.
year, but they're getting better.
They did. So thank you, Jack. Thank you, Gary, for coming on.
Our pleasure.
And
Thank
as
you.
far as that
Appreciate
dinner appointment, you stay by the phone, Gary. I do have your number. All right, folks. Hey, from Jack Stenberg and Gary Sullivan and myself and Jimmy Seneca, we wish you a very happy and a safe New Year. As I always tell, not with two police authorities in the studio this morning, don't be stupid, Cupid. Get a DD. DD. All right? New Year's Eve. All right? Don't go out and get sloshed. You get nailed by one of their patrols, and deservedly so. Take care, everybody. That's Weber this week. Next week, Jessica Seneca Elias at her new location in Waterloo. She'll be in with pictures. Take care, everybody.